A lot of people already know the normal Yubel stuff, I mean Rage, Varudras and so on, but especially after my recent videos, people kept asking me how to do the Gryphon line, how to do the Apollousa line that plays around Nibiru, and I thought to myself, alright, if I can at least help 2 or 3 people with that, I will make that video. Depending on the matchup, the normal endboard isn't really that great. I mean, the best example currently is Temper Dragons. The ability to have more than one endboard is really valuable in catching your opponent off guard, especially if one endboard differs a lot from the normal one. Let's stop the yapping and begin with the first Gryphon line. We have 2 Gryphon lines. The first one only utilizes the Nightmare Throne 1-card combo in addition with any card to discard. The second one is a 2-card combo that is a lot stronger, but even the weaker 1-card combo is really devastating against decks like Temper Dragons because it's either they have the out or they just lose. Just do the normal Yubel combo until you reach that point. Now we link away Terror Incarnate and Gruesome Gravesquirmer into Yama, to of course add the red best doggy Shavara. Disclaimer, only do the Gryphon line if you are certain that combo is better against your opponent than the normal one. The reason is that the normal one is in general a lot better. The Gryphon line is only better specifically aimed at certain decks. In general, like I mentioned, just do the normal combo. Now we do something funny and unusual. We link away Yama and Yubel into Muckraker. Okay, that's weird. I mean, we never did that before, and why are we even linking down? A lot of good questions. And I know it sounds or looks weird, but just keep watching and you will understand everything. We use Gravesquirmer's effect to reborn the spirit from the graveyard. And now we use Best Doggy to pop it to activate Spirit's effect, but important, don't use Yama's effect. Just use Spirit's effect to get 1 Yubel to the field. And now the reason for Muckraker. While we linked down, we can actually reborn the link 2, being Yama, by just discarding any blank card. But don't go immediately into the Gryphon. We have Rage still open. We can link away Shavara and Yubel into Rage to activate Shavara's effect to set Chamber. With Yama and Rage, you simply just go into the Gryphon, and just like that, you have established a very strong Nightmare Gryphon board. We have Nightmare Gryphon, we have Muckraker, and Muckraker is really good. I mean, in theory it's follow-up, and more importantly, she doesn't have a linked arrow pointing to the opponent's field, which makes the Nightmare Gryphon lock a lot more effective. But that's not where it stops. I mean, we still have Yama in the graveyard in case anything happens. If the Temper player decides to use Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, we can either reborn the Gryphon if it gets destroyed, or just go into the Yubel engine. Having Yama in the graveyard is really good, but we still have Chamber to reborn Rage, which doesn't come up that much against Tempai, but it can come up, and Rage on its own is already really good to have on the field. And he literally was free, so why not just make him? But we have another Gryphon line that is a lot stronger than the 1-card combo. Basically the same thing, just with one more extender. In that case it's Spirit Gates. With Nightmare Throne you grab of course Samsara, and with opening the Beckoning Beast. Start by normal summoning Beckoning Beast and then use the additional normal summon to get Samsara to the field. Then you just do the normal Yubel stuff until you reached that point, because now we use Beckoning Beast and Terror Incarnate to go into Yama. And then Yama will add us, like always, the best doggy. By using Yama and Yubel as material, we go into Muckraker. Now the spam begins. We activate opening to discard any random card to reborn 1 Yubel. Doesn't really matter what you reborn here, but Yubel is of course just the coolest. Then we activate Gruesome Gravesquirmer to special summon itself, and now we activate Muckraker to reborn the Yama. And we do that by just discarding the additional Spirit Gates we had in hand, since we can just re-add it immediately, since we have a Yubel on the field. Now we link everything into the Nightmare Gryphon, but why exactly are we doing it that way? I mean, we haven't even used the Shavara and we still have the Gravesquirmer in the graveyard. Everything is on purpose, because now we can activate the Gravesquirmer to reborn the OG Yubel, very important, as far away from the Gryphon as possible. And we keep the Shavara in hand to basically dodge very dangerous interactions, stuff like Droplet, Change of Heart, Talents to Take, or Impo on the Nightmare Gryphon. If they use any of that on the Gryphon, we can chain the Shavara to pop the Gryphon, and then on resolution just reborn the Gryphon with Yama. By just keeping Shavara in hand, we basically reduce the amount of outs they have to a really low amount. There's also a really good reason for the OG Yubel still being on the field. Since the Nightmare Gryphon forbids special summoned monsters from activating their effects if they are not linked, we can't activate Yubel's end phase maintaining effect, so Yubel will just stay on the field for free. And in the end phase, Samsara will trigger to reborn itself, and important, just put it besides the Gryphon so it can activate its effect. And we have basically a way better end board than before. They can only attack Yubel, we have a monster negate, we have Yama still in the graveyard, and we have Shavara to basically activate Yama whenever we want or to dodge stuff on the Gryphon. It's insane. Now that the Gryphon is behind us, I can show you the Apollousa line. It's also a 2-card combo, but the line changes a lot if you reach a certain point. If you have Beckoning Beast instead of Spirit Gates in your hand, you can in theory do the same line, but in my opinion, if you have access to Beckoning Beast instead, making Gym Buster is a lot better, since Gym Buster helps to play around Ash Blossom on Samsara or Nightmare Pain. Like before, just play until you reach that point, and now we link away Terror Incarnate and Dark Beckoning Beast again into Yama. And with Yama, like always, just grab the red doggy. Then we activate Squirmer's effect to special summon itself, and now why did I tell you that that combo plays around Nibiru? They just don't have a good moment to nip you. If your opponent decides to nip here, which is the last moment they can, you basically have full combo anyways. You have Yama in the graveyard, Shavara still in hand, and you haven't used Spirit Gates and the Squirmer's Reborn effect yet. So if they nip you here, you just can ignore that and play through that like it's nothing. And if they don't nip you here, we can just go into the Apollousa. By utilizing Squirmer's effect, we can reborn Spirit of Yubel to immediately use Shavara's effect to pop the Spirit. Chainlink 1 Spirit, Chainlink 2 Yama, and we basically have full combo. We can reborn of course the Spirit with Yama, and Spirit will get us the OG back to the field. And now from here on we have a lot of options we can go into. And I will of course show you everything, but first I will show you what I like to do, and of course you already know it, I like the Princess package. So we use the Shavara and any other Yubel monster, it doesn't really matter, to go into Rage. And then we can use Shavara's effect to set Chamber and use Rage and Yubel after that to go into the Princess. And with the Princess of course we reborn the Fire monster Shavara to after that go into Amlu Whale. I really like that because it plays around Droplet, Dark Ruler and any other sorts of board breaker a lot better, since a lot of interruptions are layered into the graveyard. Since we haven't used the Spirit Gates yet, we can just use it to reborn any Yubel monster, and then after that we can immediately add back the Spirit Gates we discarded for it, since now we control a level 10 feed monster and Spirit Gates is broken. The opponent now has to attack the Spirit, so that means they can't even run over Apollousa if we have to use her a few times. On top of the Spirit, which is really annoying for our opponent to get rid of, we have an Apollousa for 3, we have Chamber to reborn the Rage to then go into SP, and we have Amlu Whale in combination with the Princess. All of that while playing effectively around Nibiru. The other option you can go into from here is maybe even a little stronger, but a lot more fragile against board breaker like Super Poly, Droplet and Dark Ruler, so be careful about that. It's really simple though, we can just use the Spirit Gates on the field by discarding the Spirit Gates in our hand to reborn either Dark Beckoning Beast or Samsara, it doesn't really matter, and after that we can use the Spirit Gates effect on the field to immediately add back the Spirit Gates we just discarded. The Beckoning Beast engine is just insane. Now we do something you already saw a lot of times. We just use Shavara and the Samsara to go into Rage, we activate Shavara's effect to set 1 Chamber just in case anything happens, and now we overlay both Yubels into Varudras. And that endboard is really strong, but like I mentioned, it's more fragile to a lot of board breakers, so be careful about that. Those are the different lines we can go into. It's better or worse depending on the situation or matchup than the normal stuff we can do, so you have to more or less evolve a gut feeling for that. Just keep that in mind. The wait for Phantom of Yubel is almost over. It's almost over. See ya.